How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I know things have been slow. I've been too busy enjoying summer and not sitting in front of a computer editing, but I've been getting out lots. I did some treasure diving with my homie Clayton. We even went out for a scuba dive. We found thousands of dollars in fishing lures, found fishing line, even fishing rods. Craziness. I feasted my eyes on some beautiful herring in decent visibility. I went out to review a dive torch, but ended up finding even more fishing lures. Surprise, surprise. I made it back to the west coast and did some spearfishing in phenomenal conditions, great visibility, and life all over the place. I even found a new Pokemon. Never seen one of those crabs before. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks, everybody. Now, I just want to show you this clip for some relevance before I get into the official start of the video. I captured this after the content you're about to watch. This is the heart crab, one of BC's most elusive crabs. I've only laid eyes on two, this being one of them, my entire time diving in the PNW. This crab here was wrapped up in fishing line. I found it when I brought up a lure from the depths. Really sad to see, but it goes to show the importance of the work Clayton and I are doing in this video. If you dive, get out there, give back, clean up a reef. You might not see the good that you're doing immediately, but trust me, it goes a long way in helping our environments out. All right, hope you enjoy. Peace and love. What's up, world? I'm back here in BC, my home territory. Had a really good time in Bermuda. Just got off the airplane last night and woke up bright and early, crashed at my dad's and took the 5:15 a.m. ferry to the island. And I'm home now for 7 days, minus Thursday. I gotta go back to the mainland and do a speech for diamond sports, which will be cool. But I'm with Clayton. We're in Lake Cowichan on Vancouver Island, and we're gonna snorkel a tube run and look for treasures. Let's be real, Clayton's gonna find them all. He's the man when it comes to that stuff. But this is gonna be a good time. This is gonna be awesome. I'm so pumped. I've wanted to do this for years with the kids, but look at that water. Damn. It's Bermuda Viz is what I'm calling that. How's it going, man?
Good, how are you?
Good. You seen any treasures down there?
Nothing.
Nothing? How are you looking?
Yeah.
You looking? There you go, there you go. Cool. Let's get at her, man.
Yeah, buddy.
Woo. What are you thinking, brother?
We're gonna find so much jewelry, big Rolexes, big chains. It's gonna be sick. And like, I need a good pair of sunglasses.
That's what I'm saying, man. These sunglasses I found in the Nanaimo River. I'm gonna look for a new set today, even though I just bought a pair. It's pretty official. They get a shuttle service, so when we're out of the river, we get to get a drive back to our vehicle. Was it 10 bucks or something?
Yeah.
10 bucks, not bad, not bad. Beats a taxi. The biggest thing I was gonna miss was the 2.5 mil suit. I was expecting to put on a 7 mil when I got back here, but I got my Bermuda set up. 2.5 mil today, yeah. I got these awesome fins from Diving Sports with the Octopus Getting Salty edition. Diving Sports hooks me up with all my gear. Shout out to them. Thanks, guys, for everything you do for me. Much appreciated. Check them out if you're looking for gear. I was pretty excited to be back in British Columbia and even more stoked on the conditions. They were great in the fresh water, nice clear water, a little bit green but not too bad. And also the school of fish that I laid my eyes on. Wasn't expecting that in a river right off the bat. So pretty pumped overall. I found a bowl. You can never have too many bowls. I'm an avid cereal lover. That one reminded me of a sea urchin as well, so I was hyped. I was also finding people's jewelry, nothing of value, unfortunately, but the kids like this. Said Cuba on it, so it was somebody's keepsake from travels abroad. Sunglasses being the most common find of the day, that and vapes. Vapes are the cigarette butt of 2025. Do better, people. But the sunglasses, I found a lot that did not have proper UV protection. They actually damage your eyes. They open up your retina or your pupils and dump UV into it without that UV protection. So make sure you buy proper sunglasses when you're outdoors. The other thing I noticed here was a bunch of dead crayfish. Everywhere we went, we saw mounds of dead crayfish. I don't know if it's due to the water temperatures being warmer than normal or everybody's sunscreen and bug spray just killing them, but it was a bit depressing. I know abroad, when you're diving in coral, you use reef-safe sunscreen. It's probably a good idea here too if you're in the rivers. This was my find of the day. It was a cell phone. I found the owner. He was very grateful and hooked me up with 20 bucks, so thanks, dude. But the cell phone worked. I didn't want to dive too deep with it though and risk the seal, so it did kind of hinder my diving the rest of the day. There's some more sunglasses, some more goggles too. The goggles I put aside for the kids when I bring them to the pool. I found 2 canoes or kayaks. I think these are canoes. Don't know the history on them. I found one. I didn't even realize it until I reviewed the footage that there's one adjacent to it as well. So somebody lost 2 boats at once. I'm sure that was a bad day for them, but they're cool to dive at least. Look at all the garbage though. Come on, again, do better, people. People leaving their food wrappers and Werther's wrappers I saw down there too. So disrespectful to the environment, but out of sight, out of mind for a lot of people. We were finding sunglasses everywhere we went, in the tidal areas as well. We would only inspect like a small path wherever the river took us basically, but you got to wonder how much else is down there that we didn't come across in our adventure. I definitely suspect there's a lot of people doing what we're doing though. We didn't see anyone else out there on that day, but the fact that we didn't find as much as we thought we would, considering how many people are out there, just makes me think there's a lot of people, again, doing what we're doing right here. Those are my sunglasses find, some Maui gems. I'll talk about that later on camera. Remember those goggles that had like the lizard eyes? I remember those when I was a kid. Those reminded me of them. Things that you'd see in the 1990s. I'd see the odd Facebook post about stuff that was prevalent when I was a kid, and yeah, good memories. You know, brings me back to those moments in time. Another pair of crappy sunglasses. I had a big stack afterwards. Look at everything that we found in total. I'm not too proud to wear somebody else's clothing as well. If I find a nice shirt, I'm gonna wash it and clean it and wear it. Clayton got me on finding towels. He finds these brand new towels that would be like $50 towels, and he just does the same thing, washes them, dries them, and they're basically brand new. That was his probably best find of the day. It was an Apple Watch. It was unlocked, so he did find the owner, and the owner hooked him up with $50. Pretty nice and generous of that guy. Didn't speak English, but he was definitely grateful. We took the little shuttle back and hit up the original spot when we entered the water, when we first jumped in. That seemed to be the most productive spot of the day. Found some more 2025 cigarettes, a pen, and a tackle box. I was hoping something was in it, but it was completely empty. If you don't have a one-handed catch bag, I'd highly recommend getting one. These things are sweet. You can fold them in half and clip them together, make it super small. If you need to open it up, you have that option too. One-handed, the way to go. Doing pretty good. What's this, round 3?
Yeah, round 3.
We did the whole river run. We went back and explored that deeper area. And now we're gonna go back to the second deeper area just past the bridge. Found all the shades. Those are some good looking cherries too. Cherries? Yeah. I didn't film too much above the surface, but just past the bridge was a nice big stretch where we had deeper water. That's where I didn't want to dive too deep with Buddy's cell phone because it's not rated for depth. I was surprised that it was working. When I found it in the water, the sandwich bag wasn't doing too good. But we went back, I left the phone in the vehicle, and we searched around, found a bunch of more sunglasses. That pocket knife, when I was editing, realized I actually didn't have that in my bag when I was finished. I do have a hole in this bag, and I think things fall out, so I definitely need to get that repaired, but either way, someone else will grab it, I'm sure. Lighters, more trash, more vape pens. The find of the day for me was obviously that cell phone, but I also found a stack of old bottles, and I was really hyped because I love collecting antique bottles. And the one that I found was Aqua Blue Ply Top. This one here, Worcestershire sauce bottle, probably dating back to at least the late 1800s, 1860, between 1900. So 100 plus years old. Well, Clayton is on his way to go hook up that Apple Watch that he found to the owner. And we drove it right to his place in Nanaimo, so that was convenient. This phone right here, forget the guy's name, but his dad called us and we are gonna get that back to him. So let him get his phone back. I didn't realize it, but these sunglasses, Maui Jim, looked them up. You won't believe it, but they're $320 US. So this ended up being the sunglasses find of the day. And if you look down here too, I got some antique bottles I found too. I think everyone knows how much I love antique bottles. This looks like a Worcestershire sauce bottle. Look at that. Pretty cool. Ply top on there. Gorgeous. It's a good day. We spent a long time on the river there. Lake/river. We spent a long time in the water, whatever body of water it was. We were gonna do a night dive, but Clayton can't equalize anymore, so I don't think that's gonna happen. Tomorrow, up in the air, depending on how he's feeling, but I'm gonna get in the water somewhere. I hope he joins me. We'll figure it out. I took some octopus out. We're gonna cook that up tonight and hit the hay. Get some Z's, some relaxation and rest. Ooh, what's that? I got adventure with my buddy Clayton. Day 2. Yesterday we were looking for phones. Today we're looking for fishing lures. We're back here at Rocky Point. When I first came here, I loaded up my bag, and that was on breath hold. We figured, hey, if we could get scuba tanks down here, it's going to be even more intense. Diving Sports gave me a complete setup a while back, over a year ago. I feel bad because he hooked it up to me and I haven't used it once, but today it's losing its virginity. It's getting in the water, and I'm gonna be getting in the water too. The last scuba I did was in Bermuda, not on my last trip, but a year ago, just about a year ago. And that was in warm water. I don't do much cold water stuff. I really want to, but it's one of those things. I can just hold my breath, or I can go to a dive shop, fill up my tanks, put on a dry suit, blah 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 blah. Freediving is just way more convenient for me, but I really do want to start utilizing this equipment in more way than one. But I'm gonna try to get Clayton here to help me out. We're gonna put on the bottles on the tanks, all that jazz, and jump in. Hopefully not fall in. It's a bit treacherous with all our gear. Hopefully we just jump in the water. All right, man, you ready to rock?
Yeah, buddy.
You're gonna keep me safe, right?
Well, every man for himself, right? That's how scuba diving works.
I think so. I think so. That's how it works with freediving, at least. All right, there's my gear. There's my gear. Woo! All right, wish me luck. Wish me luck. I guess if you don't see this video, then that futile. All right, let's get in there. It's funny because when you think of scuba divers and freedivers are generally considered the more athletic of the bunch of the two, but going into the ocean with all that gear and all that weight on us was actually really difficult. So a newfound respect for scuba divers that jump into the treacherous spots. I was really excited and grateful that Clayton encouraged me to go out. I usually just get lazy and I'm like, okay, let's just free dive. We'll free dive this time. And I keep procrastinating and putting it off. But again, thanks Clayton for actually getting my butt in the water with a scuba tank on my back. This spot is just absolutely littered with fishing gear all over the place. It's really sad to see. Clayton there with a vase. We don't think it was an urn. We hope it was not an urn. We're going to call it a vase. But you can just see everywhere you look, there's fishing line on the rocks, and there's lead lures just jammed into the crevices. It was really nice that we could get out here on Scuba. When I free dive this spot, I'm pretty limited to the intertidal zone, and I dive down to maybe 10-15 meters at times. But when I'm down at 15 meters, it doesn't give me a whole lot of time to explore and look around in the nooks and crannies. So getting down on Scuba was very beneficial, and that's one of the advantages scuba diving has over free diving is you're not just hitting deeper spots, but you're down there for longer. One thing I would not do on Scuba is harvest. Harvesting lures is one thing, but going down there and grabbing, say, an octopus or a Puget Sound king crab, in my opinion, it's like taking candy from a baby and just not something I think is ethical. But hey, when you consider scuba diving and harvesting versus throwing lures into the rivers and oceans and leaving plastic discarded all over the place, I guess in some ways it is a more sustainable option. It's funny because no matter what your side is, you can come up with an argument or justification. Check out this big rat nest of fishing line. That's not just seaweed, that's all fishing line. And when anglers are tossing lures out, they often snag that stuff, and then they lose another lure, and it just compiles and snowballs to the point you see those massive rat nests. So we got those out, which means less people will be losing gear in the future. Each of these lures, when you're looking at retail in a store, I'm thinking about $10, maybe $15. I talked to one angler. He said some of them that I found up to 25 bucks. People toss those out. They're brand new. On the first cast, they're snagging things and losing their gear. I say they, but I should include myself just to remind everybody I'm not new to angling. I used to drop a hook and line and troll for salmon before I even knew freediving and spearfishing was a thing. When I really got into diving in 2018, I don't think I've really picked up a fishing rod since, maybe a couple times. As where before that was all I would do, all I would think about. All my Christmas presents and birthday presents growing up was fishing gear and fishing tackle. So again, I'm not new to angling. I would just rather go down into the environment, look at what's in front of me, get some exercise, and if I see a fish, shoot it. And if I don't see a fish, just enjoy the other nature and beauty that's on the wall, like this little jellyfish there. But again, I'm ranting here. Back to lure finding. I don't know what people are thinking, hucking some of this stuff in the water. I don't know what they're expecting to find. We were finding lures on the barbs on the vast majority of these lures. And if they're fishing for salmon, which I'm sure those people would have been, they're not following the regulations, because when you're fishing for salmon, no barbs, they get toss a lure in and say they're fishing for lingcod and rockfish, and then if they catch a salmon, just play ignorant and play dumb. But I think people know better. One thing to remember when you're scuba diving is you do have a limited supply of air, so can't forget to check your gauges. So once we were getting down to our last hurrah, we did our safety stop and got out. I made it. I'm alive. That was funny. Waiting for the free diving, but that was a good time. Found a lot of shit. You alright? That's my turn now, man. This will be good. Hard. Yeah, getting out for sure. There. It's free dive time, right? Yeah, you're not supposed to free dive after scuba diving. This is pretense. Yeah. Now, I'm a passionate ocean lover. I think that message is clear through all my videos if you watch my content. I can't say I'm passionate about editing footage of me cleaning up rivers and oceans, though. For me, sitting behind a computer, this stuff is very time consuming and it's just not that enjoyable. But at the same time, I think the message is important, so I don't mind doing it. If you like this content, make sure you let me know. Throw the video a like, leave a comment, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I'd appreciate that. It all helps the algorithm, helps my channel grow, and makes me come back and sit in front of a computer and edit content. Again, I'm not overly passionate about. If you don't like the video, throw it a thumbs down, go for it. If you do so, just explain yourself. Otherwise, I'll call it the jealousy button. Again, this stuff is time consuming. It takes me a lot of time away from beautiful sunny days to sit in front of a computer and just to throw the thumbs down button without explaining yourself. You're a jealous hater, that's what I'm going to call you. My original plan for all this fishing tackle was to donate it to the Rugged Coast Research Society for their Party for the Ocean. They raise money for their remote cleanup efforts, but they didn't host one this year, so I've been selling some of the equipment, recouping some of the costs associated with the trips I go on, and some of the software that I utilize, like music programs that I have to pay for. I also gave Fred 38.4 pounds of lead to melt down into dive weight. He has a cast and he's going to make me some dive lead, because you can never have too much dive lead. Other for my scuba diving setup, which requires quite a bit if I'm in a dry suit, my weight belts, and it's good to have backups, or some for friends if they forgot their dive belt. I got an extra belt in my car. This net I found I sold on Marketplace for 50 bucks. So weird. That third one? Number second. Crazy. Here is our haul for the day. On this side is my pile. My best finds right there on the log, and then just a miscellaneous stash on the bottom. Clayton's adjacent to mine. He found a bunch too. Together, I don't know, we're in a solid 100, I'd say. I found this fishing net in that cave. That was pretty random. And then check out these mounds of fishing line that we just find big massive piles in. And then in those on the bottom is a bunch of lures too. Clayton found some door handles. What else we got there? Some old fishing rods. People must have lost one way, shape, or form. That was a good day in the ocean though, and good to give back. And when we come back here, we'll find less lures because we get rid of these massive snags. Good work, Clayton. Thanks for showing me the ropes on scuba.
117.
117? Damn, dude. Nice. Fun times. Another day, another dollar. But you can't guess where I'm at. Haven't been here in a while. Gonna be diving here one more time. Yesterday we did pretty good. The conditions were really rough, and we dove deeper, but I didn't explore the shallows too much. And we checked this area out, but we didn't go over there. There was a guy I met on the shore. I think he's here right now. Looks like his vehicle. He came over to my place last night and checked out the loot, and he ended up giving me 100 bucks for 50 lures, something like that. So not a bad revenue source. The conditions look pretty good though. Green water, obviously, here in the PNW. But I'm gonna put on my gear, free dive today, and snorkel around, dive around, see what I can find. And if I have energy, I might even hit up Neck Point, which is just over there. This is Rocky Point, Neck Point. Look at those conditions though, stunning. Now, when I visit locations, I'm often very secretive. I don't want to bring additional pressure to the spots that I spearfish. When it comes to Rocky Point, it is a very known fishing spot throughout the angling community. I don't come here and spearfish. I just don't think it's worthwhile. I think people come here primarily for salmon, not for rockfish or lingcod. Lingcod, back in the day, I bet they were plentiful, but nowadays I'm only seeing juvenile. But when I share these spots, I'm hoping that people come here and do what I do, clean up all the lures, clean up the fishing line, and just continue the efforts that we've been putting in. But the efforts are definitely showing themselves because I'm finding less and less tackle every single time I visit here. Still finding a lot of line. I'm limited to how much line I can remove while holding my breath. Coming here on Scuba, that's definitely the best time for it. And I do want to scuba this spot again. If you're in Nanaimo and want to scuba dive this with me, I'm getting more experience and feeling more comfortable. I got to get my dry suit on. I'm down to scuba in my wetsuit though. I used the 7mm Bouchot the day previous and it kept me warm and toasty. 2-piece Farmer John. I don't feel like a dry suit is needed, at least not in the summer. In the winter, I'll be saying something different. But I have a dry suit, just need to get more comfortable utilizing it. Not finding as much fishing tackle though did allow me to focus on the nature in the area. I was keeping my eyes peeled for salmon, especially in the distance just past those herring schools. I did not see a salmon though I was hoping to, but saw a painted greenling, anemones, a couple of smaller lingcod, smaller rockfish. Again, nothing that I'd spearfish. This lure I dropped the day previous. I found it though, came out of my bag. I think that spot has officially been exhausted. Spent, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half out there, probably a bit longer, and didn't really find much of anything. Found about 15, maybe 15. That's a generous estimate of lures, and saw a bunch of herring. What do I do? Go to Neck Point where there's a bunch of boats trolling around for salmon? Do I head up a river? Do I go to Cotton Point? Look for lures out there? I don't want to finish up yet, but I'm feeling like there's too many boats out there for me to dive comfortably. I see like 15, 20 trolling right off the rocks there, so probably not the safest bet. Believe it or not, I teach occupational health and safety. That's what I've made a career out of. Teaching fall protection, confined space rigging. Today I taught skid steer, how to operate a bobcat. I'm all for safety, but I'm also all for living life. If I'm gonna get hurt, it's on days off, enjoying life, having fun, skateboarding, boxing, or freediving. Going out solo, I know is not recommended, but it is something I do from time to time. Between kids, being a father, managing a house, and working away from home, I'm limited to when I can get out, so when I have an opportunity, I'm jumping in. I found this Puget Sound king crab shell, which is pretty dope. If you watch Vlad from Big Water Guy, he's got a YouTube channel out of Oregon. He's killing it right now. I dove with him around Nanaimo, and we found Puget Sound king crab in February. I never see him around this area. I've never caught one or seen one myself, but seeing the shell was a good sign. That was a positive. I do follow some scuba divers on YouTube and on Facebook groups, and they're posting pictures and videos of Puget Sound king crab in the area, which is cool. I dove Thrasher Rock a few years back and we found Puget Sound king crab carcasses. So again, they're in the area. I wouldn't harvest one, but nice to see them. This right here was probably my favorite shot of the day. The kelp going back and forth. It's just absolutely beautiful, phenomenal. The boats were freaking me out. They were coming pretty close to shore, so called it a day. Had fun. Hey, would you look at that? Would you look at that? Bickerton, going for a dive. I was just trying to get some more footage with this video light that I'm doing a review for. I did one dive here on the PNW Sound, and I did a bunch in Bermuda, but I want to get one more local dive in our cold waters and illuminate the wall down here at a familiar dive spot. Now there's Bickerton Spear Guns though. He's one of my sponsors. Brett, we've been trying to coordinate a dive forever. I should have reached out to him this morning. This is kind of a last second decision to come here though. Xerxes, she's meeting up. She was available, so that's cool. Beautiful day. Kids are at a birthday party. Gonna take them to the pool later, and then tomorrow heading out to the west coast of the island with the family. My buddy Kyle's joining, he dives, and I'm gonna get in the water and do some spearfishing. Speaking of Bickerton Spear Guns, gonna go spearfishing with one of his gats. My fish supply got a little bit left, but it's almost empty, so it's time to get that freezer stocked up again. Yeah, it was Brett and his girlfriend Britt. Slippery here, walking on the kelp, but they're seeing fish. They're not really harvesting, it's more for a leisure dive, which is cool. I'm gonna be doing the same thing. And Xerxes, she'll find us, I think. My goal for the day was to film around with a video light, but the conditions were horrific, a really bad algae bloom. I saw this painted greenling. They're a fish you'd expect to see in Bermuda, not here in BC. And I also saw swimming scallop. These things are hilarious. You touch them and they go around like a chicken with their head cut off doing the funky chicken. Now my video light review quickly turned into a lure dive, looking around again for fishing lures. Now this is what separates the boys from men when it comes to content creation. If I can keep your attention throughout this section of the video, then I've done my job and I've impressed myself, because if I were you watching lure after lure after lure being picked up off the ocean's bottom, I'd be tuning into another video pretty quickly. That's me personally. Now, if you're not into this stuff, just FYI, I do spearfishing at the end of the video. So if you don't want to watch the whole entire thing, just scan forward towards the end and you'll see me catch some black rockfish in beautiful conditions, kelp everywhere. But this was insane. I dive this spot a lot and I always find the odd lure here and there. But this looks like somebody went out with a tackle box and just opened it up and started hucking lures right on the edge here. Like, I really couldn't believe what I was seeing. And if you're watching this, you might not believe what you're seeing. You might even think I staged it, but my time is much more valuable than going out to a reef, littering it just to pick it up for content that I'm not passionate about editing. And I find lures, they're almost like a vehicle. As soon as you leave the lot, it depreciates in value. These lures, however, if you buy them in store, might be $10, $15 each. I'm recouping like $2 or $3 even for the nice expensive ones. So I would never fake any of my content, especially lure diving. Well, any content in general for that matter. I got out of shore to say goodbye to Brett Bickerton and his girlfriend Britt. They were taking off. And I also grabbed my catch bag. I brought that into the water. Swimming around with a catch bag, the problem with it though, with lures, is it ends up getting pretty heavy and then you're overweighted. So a good strategy would have been to take 2 or 3 pounds off my belt. And then once I load the bag up with say 7 or 8 pounds of lead, it's going to compensate for that additional weight. But I didn't do that, so I swam out there with my bag and it was getting quite heavy, so I left it on the bottom. And with the crappy visibility, I should have been using my head. I actually couldn't find it for a bit and I was all stressed out, but I ended up finding it, thankfully. Otherwise, I would have left all those lures plus my lovely catch bag on the bottom. So I rethought my strategy and I swam the bag to the shore. I'd swim down, I'd get a handful of lures, and then I'd swim back to my bag and just chuck everything in there. It was good exercise, and you know, I've been living a bit of an unhealthier lifestyle than historically and got some weight to lose, so I was all good for the additional heart rate going up there. As much as I love freediving, it's not boxing like I used to do religiously when I was younger before I hurt my shoulders. The biggest part of freediving when it comes to exercise is just the hike down to the shore, but once you swim out to a dive spot, you're laying motionless at the surface to control your heart rate, and then you dive down for maybe a minute, and then it's another 2-3 minutes of laying motionless. So in the winter, the cold conditions, you're burning quite a few calories. This time of year, you're burning virtually none, at least from what I can tell. That was a funny clip. Not really funny, actually, kind of depressing, but somebody snagged a starfish. So I freed up the starfish, threw it down on the bottom. I'm sure it survived, but bycatch, that's for sure. Now, I will give credit to whoever lost all these lures. This is determination, if you ask me. They probably lost like $1,000 worth of tackle, assuming this is from one person. But whoever was out there definitely lost a lot of tackle and a lot of money and all that to catch one salmon. Like, hell, you're definitely not doing it for the food. You're not doing it for sustainability. You're doing it for the experience. And there's a lot of passionate fishermen out there. So kudos to them. Kudos to the ones that don't give up. The one downside to determination is every lure that you're losing is trash that's on the ocean's bottom, and also a fishing line that's wrapping up on these rocks. Some fishing line can take up to 1,000 years to degrade. And you think about these little spots that are accessible from shore in 15 meters of water, basically the limits that I don't generally push past while recreationally freediving. But a lot of spots are being fished in 300, 400 feet of water for rockfish. And every time you lose a lure down there, I don't know many recreational fishermen or freedivers for that matter diving down to those depths. So you got to wonder what these reefs look like at the bottom. I've seen a few Facebook posts where people have freed up Puget Sound king crab, a fishing line off the west coast of Vancouver Island. I've seen actually not just one. One was a comment on my YouTube channel, but also on a Facebook group. People are angling and they catch Puget Sound king crab, and the only reason they caught the crab is because it too was wrapped up in fishing line. Marco Spiro, he's a legendary freediver Spiro out of Vancouver, BC. Shout out Marco. But he posted on his Facebook group, Freedivers of BC, a Puget Sound king crab that he caught. And the algorithm picked up the post, and this guy who worked for a lure manufacturer out of Washington was livid at Marco, like super pissed off that he posted a picture and couldn't believe that he harvested one, not knowing that they're illegal to harvest in Washington but legal in BC. But I commented on his post, I'm like, dude, you're against him harvesting a Puget Sound king crab, but what do you think happens to all those fishing lures that are down at the bottom, and all the line down at the bottom? What's that going to do to the environment? And I told him that people have caught Puget Sound king crab while jigging, and he deleted his comment, never responded, but he did delete his comment. I kind of put him in his place, and that's not my goal. It's not to put people in their place, but I hate the hypocrisy as what I'm doing is right and what you're doing is wrong. And that's not the message that I'm trying to deliver when I share these experiences. I'm just showing you what I see, what's in front of me, and the cold hard reality of the repercussions of not just angling, but you know, people that spearfish and aren't using best practices, shooting undersized fish, hitting the same spots repetitively, and just raping and pillaging these beautiful reefs, just not using their head. So I love being in the ocean, and I love what's in front of me, but I hate seeing all this trash. It's depressing. That was intense. That dive was going to be to explore with my dive light, my dive torch, to try it out in the water, but I got distracted by all this fishing gear. Look at this stuff, mounds and mounds of it. And I dive the spot regularly. I was here maybe a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago. I saw a few, but this stuff would have all been lost in the last month and a bit. And just like Rocky Point, I would say the vast majority of these have barbs, and the people fishing here are fishing for salmon. You get treble hooks with barbs, tossing them out for salmon, so that's not cool. But what is cool is all that equipment is out of the ocean. All that line is out too. So hopefully people are losing less gear here as a result of that. It's been a fun 3 days of lure diving. Even today, by default, turned into a lure dive. Awesome times. Thanks Xerxes for the dive. That was fun. Ran into Brett while I was here, and gonna take the kids to the pool now. They'll have a blast with that. Tomorrow going spearfishing. Yeah. Looking good, man, looking good. How the conditions look though?
Looks pretty calm.
A little bit gnarly.
Not
too bad where we're diving though, yeah.
No.
On a back eddy.
Looks
Some
good too, actually.
downwelling action over there.
You can see pretty far into the water, but that's not usually the greatest indicator of actual visibility.
It's true, man. It's true. All right, a little bit further. See that little rock there? That's where we're trying to get to. It's one of those moments that I should probably put the camera down and focus on what I'm doing, because I don't want to fall and get hurt when we're moments away from getting into the ocean. That'd be a jerk. Conditions today, they're not horrible, but they're not great. You can tell there's a lot of current. I don't know if you can hear me because there's quite a bit of wind. Thankfully, it's not translating into big swell, not as of right now. The visibility looking down looks pretty clear though, so that's positive. We came here to look for lingcod, some black rockfish. One each is the limit on this coastline. But we're gonna do pretty good, I think. And if we don't get fish, we should find some fishing lures and get some beautiful sights. I'm still trying out that video light, so I'll probably switch my spear gun up for that and film around too.
10:54 is low tide.
Okay, so
9:30 now.
All right.
So we're probably looking at a slack, I don't know, 45 minutes or an
Okay,
hour.
well you can start swimming out that way then. I'm down for that.
Sweet.
Nice, we probably fluke timed it out nicely. Low tide too, I think. So get deeper while diving shallower. Suit's on. Quick update. The Ocean or Yamamoto 45 suit is killing it. I got the Velcro beaver tail switched out for some clips, and I'm liking the clip system a lot better. The Velcro was decent. I like the Velcro, but I do prefer the clips. Diving Sports is now offering both options and custom. So if you're looking for a new suit, this thing is unbelievably flexible. It feels like I'm wearing pajamas, so I'd sleep in this, to be honest, if I was cold. All right, getting in the water. Kyle's ahead of me, he's down there. He's gonna beat me to it. And there we go, spearfishing time, the moment that a lot of you have been waiting for, and some of you, I'm sure, fast forwarded too. It was time to get in the water though. Beautiful conditions. I went out with my homie Kyle. I talk about no bycatch with spearfishing, but look at this. There you go, Kyle. He shot himself a sea urchin. Sea urchin, they're not invasive, but they're overpopulated due to no predators, and they're eating up all these kelp beds. So although it is bycatch, it's actually a good thing that he took one out. Makes a very small, minimal difference. No difference whatsoever for that matter, but still not a big deal that he shot one of those. He told me there was a nice school of black rockfish underneath us. This was about 15 meters. I knew there was a spot with a lot more black rockfish in about 5 meters. So I did one dive down there. I saw a couple medium small ones. I wasn't overly keen on shooting one, so we swam to a different spot. Found some more fishing lures. No shocker there. This is the stretch of coast that people have found Puget Sound king crab wrapped up in fishing line. I went to a kelp bed. You can tell by the water here, it's very, very tidal. The current was just screaming, like screaming really, really hard, which it does at this spot. This is one of the few spots I've been caught in a downwelling current. When I say caught, not dangerously, but you know, you're stationary and you're getting pulled downwards. It's a creepy feeling. This guy on that fishing boat, he had a double header, caught 2 salmon. That was cool to see. We had to be mindful of fishing boats though, not swimming out too far and doing one up, one down. My ears were being really sticky. Ended up getting super sick after this day. The following day I had a fever and slept for like 17 hours. But I couldn't equalize, so I had to be really careful not to damage my ears. I knew the limit here was only 1 rockfish, so I was taking my time to find a nice one, risking the fact that I might not be able to equalize and get down to depth. But I finally went down there, found a nice big one in the pile, and brought it home. It was good eating. I'm not all for shooting the largest fish I can find, but when you're only allowed one, you might as well make your trip worth it. I only grabbed the 1 black rockfish. I wasn't seeing any lingcod of size, so I didn't shoot one. Kyle did. I did see a greenling though, and I figured, hey, I might as well bring 1 greenling home, add to the ceviche mix. Just keep swimming. The day previous to this, I didn't get any footage that I wanted to use for my dive light review, so I switched out the spear gun for the dive light, the video light, and I just focused on filming the beauty that was in front of me. These right here are yellowtail rockfish. They're one of the few species that school of rockfish locally. They're always so beautiful, like magnificent. Can't say that word to see. The yellowtail rockfish, I only see juvenile ones school. I've never seen a school of mature ones. Makes you wonder where they go. Do they swim off to the depths, or do they get caught before they have a chance to grow big, or maybe a bit of both? If you look down at the bottom, seeing all the sponges and anemones, it's kind of funny because we look at the bottom from the outside looking in, not really realizing that every single creature on these rocks is fighting for its survival every day. Like those anemones are eating fish that go by, and little urchins are fighting and eating kelp and fighting for habitat and space on the rocks. It's pretty neat when you look into the ecology and the habitats and all the environments, the surroundings. The nudibranch, that big one, should I do a nudibranch catch and cook on my channel? I think that would ruffle some feathers, but I always kind of wonder, what do those sea slugs taste like? I know the limpets taste good, but there must be a reason people don't harvest them. The little overhanging ledge here was probably the highlight feature of the day. I didn't get as good a footage as I wanted to. I wish I could go back in time and film a bit more, but I found this anemone garden and I noticed these crabs on the inside. I hadn't seen the crabs before. I know I really shouldn't touch the environment I visit, leave it alone, but I was really curious. I knew they were a type of lithode. I couldn't find the species. I don't think it's a spiny lithode, but these things were big. They're actually pretty meaty too. Look at the antennas coming off them. I look at all the marine creatures that I see like Pokemon, and you got to catch them all. And when I say catch them all, I don't mean eat them all and harvest them all, but I mean see them all at least and check them off the list. This was a surprise to me. Really pumped and stoked on this footage. I made sure the little homie there got back safe and sound to the bottom, which it did, and didn't seem phased. And like always, if you like the video, let me know in the comments. I really appreciate it. Peace and love, everybody. Signing off, and thanks for listening to me rant for like 30 minutes. That's a bit much, I know. Where are you leading me, bro?
Trail.
Woo! Wet gear doesn't make this any easier. Love your camping shoes. Or hiking shoes.
Yeah, they're good. CSA approved.
Yeah, got my hiking natives.
And all terrain footwear.